What's up, guys? Alfonso here. Thank you for watching my video. Today's video is about God and the law of attraction. Why do I say God and the law of attraction? Because a lot of people are asking me like my religious views, and do I believe in God? Am I religious? Does law of attraction work with religion? My answer is yeah, it does. I mean, I want to illustrate, to kind of put it in perspective on what I believe. If you look at, let's say, my hand. You see my hand? And if my hand is the universe, so if my hand is the universe, in my hand, you would not be able to see Earth. Meaning, Earth is so minuscule. It's so like, if you're looking at the universe, Earth is not even on the radar. It wouldn't even be. If you're looking at the universe, Earth would be smaller than an atom. Something that is not you can't even see with your eyes. You understand? So that's the one thing. Now, knowing that we're so minuscule, okay, so like nothing. We're nothing really in a big spectrum when we're talking about the universe. How can we possibly think that there's only us? Like, how can it only be us, right? So there's obviously something else, you know. People call it a higher self, a higher power, energy, source energy, God, whatever label you want to put on it, it's all the same thing. Now, when we're talking about religion in specific, I mean, if you take apart every single religion and you kind of change the labels, they're all basically saying the same thing. Now let me put it in a perspective that I've come to understand it. The best way to explain it is when I see my kids. Okay, I have a 3-year-old. Well, she's gonna be 4 soon, but there's certain things. There's certain things that I would not explain to my 4-year-old, 3-year-old, just because they're too young to understand. They have not reached the mental capacity to really understand what I'm talking about. For example, crime. There's no reason, or things that like war. You can't explain war to a 3-year-old, right? They're not ready. Their mind is are not ready to accept the fact that we want to kill each other. They just cannot accept it, you know. So if we're the children, if we're God's children, you know, or there's certain things that, because we're so underdeveloped, we're not ready to understand certain aspects of the universe. So basically, a lot of information is withheld, you know, because we're not ready. We're not ready as a society, right? So from that, having said that, when we put the two together, of course there's something out there, you know. Just by looking at the universe, like how we're so minute, we're so minuscule, that of course, there's something else out there, you know. And I believe that we're all interconnected, right? So if we're flowing energy, right, and we're so small compared to the universe, somehow the universe is connected. And if we're the children, right, because our brain capacity has not reached the level where we can comprehend anything. I mean, think about it. Humans have been on Earth, they say, for millions of years. But only 500 years ago, we found out that the world was round. I mean, that's insane. Because anytime up to that point, we were not ready to see the world round. And up to 100 years ago, we really became global. It became like a system. People have come along, you know. Jesus, Muhammad. I mean, there's lots of people. And when we're talking about Jesus, for example, and really put attention, like, do you understand that Jesus Christ was talking and trying to teach the laws of the universe? Like, he was in touch with his higher self, right? I mean, we all can be in touch with our higher selves. There's information. I mean, Leonardo da Vinci knew things 500 years ago that we're just finding out with right now. Leonardo da Vinci had blueprints for the first helicopter 400 years before it was made. I mean, all these people, I mean, Michael Jordan, let's talk about Michael Jordan. There's something that he can reach inside of him and channel source energy and literally attract all positivity to him, right? He doesn't have to think about it. He doesn't have to exercise. He doesn't have to read books. I mean, of course, he can only get better at what he does by reading and getting more informed. And I don't even think he even knows what he's doing, right? Some people are aware, you know. In time, you know, Jesus' story got diluted, you know, just because of different languages, changes of languages, different agendas. I mean, the story of Jesus Christ was told about 100 years after he was after his death, right? So if you're saying, you know what, I don't believe in God, fine. But God energy, source energy is the same thing. It's just different labels. Buddha, this, whatever you want to be, and whatever book you want to read, whatever you want to buy into. The most important thing is belief. And if you decipher all these different religions, it comes all down to the same thing. All these people, these prophets, basically, were reaching up to a higher source energy. So that's where I am with religion. I'm not particularly religious, but I am extremely spiritual, and I do believe in what you would say God, which for me is source energy. I mean, you're just putting different labels on it. It doesn't really matter. It's really irrelevant. And all the laws of the universe are there for you. I mean, not just only the law of attraction. That's just one law, right? But if you really can learn to master and really understand what it is that we're talking about here. I mean, they said that Jesus used to heal people, right, just by his touch. I believe it. I believe that if they say that we're using 5% of our brain capacity, but if we could amp that to 50%, the results of 50% of humanity using 50% of their brain capacity, I mean, do we even need to drive these vehicles? Or should we be teleporting everywhere? I mean, is it the only reason why we're not teleporting because there's nobody came up with a formula? Because once somebody comes up with a formula of why we should be up in the air, then all of a sudden you see all these planes in the air. I mean, really think about it. How does all that metal stay up in the air? I don't know. I mean, someone came up with a formula and figured it out, right? And they say that we've teleported the first molecule. I mean, that's just the beginning. We're primitive compared to where we're going to be 200 years from now. And if we're primitive to where we're going to be 200, 400, 500 years ago, and everything will be unfolded, then that's we'll get to know the things about the universe as we need to know it. Just how 500 years ago it was unfolded, and we found out that the world was round. You know, so as our brain grows, as our experience grows, as humanity evolves, we'll find out more truths, more and more truths. Anyways, that's my 2 cents. So take it for what it is.